What if I told you that one swipe, just one, could quietly cost you thousands of dollars? Right now, credit card debt in America is at record levels. Millions of people are carrying balances month after month while paying 20, 25 or even 30% of interest rates. In today's video, we are reacting to real stories from people trapped with credit card debt, breaking down what went wrong and what this means for your financial stability. Let's get into it.
My husband and I are paying off over $60,000 of credit card debt. And truthfully, most days I'm happy, I'm excited. We've paid off over $37,000 in 4 months. Something we never thought we could do. We have a plan and we work together, and we've really come so far. The weight of the rest of the debt just sneaks up on us. One of us starts, reliving the shame, thinking about the past, what we should have done differently, why we made certain choices. Instead of focusing on how far we've come, we can only see how far we still have to go. And just to get a little more personal, I'm almost 32. I thought I would have kids by now. I thought we'd be in our forever home and more settled than we are. It's very easy to feel behind, to hold the disappointment of expectations that aren't met, some small and some completely heartbreaking and devastating. And my husband feels it too, and in a little bit of a different way than me. He feels behind compared to his friends, discouraged that all of his hard work is just going straight to debt. He doesn't even have his own car right now, and I think that also affects him mentally.
There is a lot of support in the comments. Very proud of you. I am on the same boat with you. We can do this. You're doing amazingly well. The day you realize that life is not a race, you feel more content about where you are in life. I know some of your friends will be looking at you wishing they had the courage to do what you are doing. So many are drowning in debt in silence. In 3 years you are going to be so far ahead of your friends too, probably. It will be all worth it. Thanks for sharing. This is so helpful and inspirational. Don't compare yourself to your friends or relatives. Just try to be better than yesterday.
I believe you guys, because everyone keeps saying this, but not to air out my own business, but I'm going to. I have a 790 credit score. My credit utilization is under 5%. I don't carry any balances, and I still only have an 8K credit limit with Chase. And anytime I ask for an increase, they say no. But what's really ironic is that I went in person to do something at my bank, and they were trying to convince me to get a mortgage, and I was like, so no credit limit increase, but yes mortgage. Interesting.
Going straight to the comments, my credit limit goes up every time I am over 50% on my card. It's insane. Every time our credit card has randomly gotten a limit increase, we have never asked for one. It's when we had been having trouble paying it off. I just got denied a credit increase because I don't spend enough on the card every month. That is the actual reason they gave me. Keeping my utilization low was the reason for the denial. Also, a matter of them not making money of you. Someone who makes on time minimum payments is spending a lot on interest, and it's good for the credit company to keep upping a credit limit so that people will spend more. If you don't play that game and pay off your balance each month, there is no benefit to giving you more access to credit. It doesn't matter, because if you have a very high limit credit but low utilization, eventually the credit issuers will reduce your credit limit. Capital One just reduced my limits on both of my cards by 50% because my utilization was too low. The only time I had a credit limit increase is when I came close to maxing out my card once years ago. I paid it off quickly. They bumped it from 5k to 9.5k. Also have great credit, low utilization, and they seem less excited about giving me more. To sum it up, they basically just plot to put you in debt. Do you see how evil that is? Pretty much credit card companies will give you increase only if your utilization is already high and pretty much you're already struggling to cover your cost of living expenses, because they know that once they increase your credit limit, pretty much you get into more debt, into higher interest payments, and so on.
Credit card debt is exploding, and it's not because people are dumb. It's because the system is vicious. 25%, 28%, 30% interest. That's not borrowing. That's a shakedown. You pay the card, but interest eats it. Balance barely moves. Month after month, year after year. That's why people feel hopeless. They're not bad with money, they're trapped. Minimum payments don't save you. They keep you stuck. Lower the interest, transfer balances, credit unions, or personal loans. Anything that stops the bleed. If you're surviving on credit cards, you're not irresponsible. You're playing a rigged game.
I was able to find some official statistics on the total credit card debt in the United States for the past 10 years, so let's have a look at it together. As you can see, credit card balances hit a fresh high, and pretty much at the moment they stay at $1.28 trillion according to a new report on household debt by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, and that's actually a jump of 5.5% from a year earlier.
This is a tour of my debt as a 30-year-old living in downtown Chicago, and how quickly I plan to pay it off. Right with the lowest, which is my Chase Sapphire Preferred credit card, which has $719.60 on it. I plan to pay this off immediately. Credit card debt is the worst kind of debt. Next up, we have the Chase Freedom Unlimited card, which has $1,963.11, and I also plan on paying this one off immediately. And lastly, of the Chase credit card family, we have the Chase Freedom Flex, which has a $2,149 balance on it, and I also plan on paying this off immediately. The reason why this was so high this month is because the quarterly bonus for this card was dining, and your boy loves to go out to eat. My very last credit card is my Capital One Saver card, which has a balance of $7,397 on it. As for this one, I don't plan on paying it off. Just plan on paying the minimum on the due date. Ethan, you just said the worst kind of debt is credit card debt. Yeah, I said that, but this one has a 0% APR until December, so I don't plan on paying it off until it's actually due. I plan on putting the balance in a high-yield savings account so that I'm earning interest on.
Somehow the credit card companies made us think that having 4 or 5 credit cards it's normal. Another resident from Chicago commented on this video. Me with 40,000 in credit card debt in Chicago as a 25-year-old. And the guy seems to be making progress on it because he was at $60,000 in 2025, so he paid around $20,000 of credit card debt. Good for him. Hopefully this year he will manage to pay it all off. However, I'm not sure if he will manage to pay it off because the interest rates at the moment are the highest compared to the last 30 years or so. I have prepared for you a graph, official statistics from the Federal Reserve, and as you can see the average credit card rate sits at around 20%, so pretty much credit cards are one of the most expensive ways to borrow money. And as you can see, credit card interest rates rose quickly after 2021 as the Federal Reserve hiked its benchmark interest rate.
Okay, so yesterday around like 2, I get this call from my credit card company, and the lady was like, "Oh, your credit card payment history is so good. We decided to up your credit card limit to $10,000. What? I go to look at my credit card limit. It went from 3,000 to 10,000. 3,000 was 4,000 to 10 G's? What the hell? Credit cards are really dangerous because, like, ain't no way I'm spending more than 1,000 on that credit card. They must want me to spend even more money, which is not happening because credit cards are dangerous. 10 G's? I was like, are you sure this is not a mistake? They're like, no, your credit is good and, like, your credit card payment history is really good. So,
credit cards are indeed dangerous. At the moment, around 175 million people in the United States are using credit cards, and while some of them pay in full their bills each month, around 60% of credit card users carry a balance from one month to the other. And there are some really smart comments I have found under the video. That's just because they want your money. Don't do it. They want you in a lot of debt. Then act like they're doing you a favor. And the creator replied, literally what I was thinking, not happening.
I know a lot of people wonder how someone gets into $30,000 worth of credit card debt at the age of 25. I will say that for myself, I got married at 20 years old, and from 20 to 25, I basically carelessly spent my money. I never budgeted my paychecks. Every time I tried, I never stayed consistent with it. So I never really knew where my money was going, what I was spending it on, and I never budgeted for anything. So now I'm in the situation that I'm in. I racked up a lot of credit card debt because I spent more than I could actually afford to pay back. And so now I'm deciding to take action and doing something about it because I could very well be beating myself up every day, living under stress, and just everything that comes with knowing that you owe so much money back to your creditors.
A lot of people seem to be experiencing the same. I am on my journey as well, married at 19 and now I am 25 with 2 kids, a house, 2 car notes and 37,000 of debt between credit cards and personal loans, not including student loans and medical bills. I wish you the best on this journey. Literally same. Being married opened credit card line offers I otherwise wouldn't have qualified for. The next clip is another example of how you can get into a lot of credit card debt at an early age.
Things I wish someone told me in my 20s. ¿Y por qué no me dijeron? No sé. Part 1. If you can afford to pay your credit card every month, you don't need a credit card. This is coming from a person who racked up more than $20,000 in credit card debt before the age of 22. Trust me. You think you're going to be able to make that next payment? You might. But the minimum payments, you're never going to pay it off. You get interest free for the first 12 months. Once those 12 months are up, you're doomed. Also, don't get retail credit cards. Trust. Also coming from someone who had more than 15. Imagine keeping up with those monthly payments. And I could not set up auto pay. You know why? Because I didn't know if I could pay it. So I had to, every month, make sure I paid each credit card. So yeah, learn from me. Be better.
You have to be honest with yourself. If you're a spender, getting a credit card is not a good idea. Playing the credit card cashback game is only for people with self-control, and the creator agree with that. I was able to track down some statistics on the average credit card debt by age. So as you can see, Generation X carries the highest average credit card balance at $9,600. That's over $2,500 more than millennials, who have the second highest average credit card balance. Also, the lowest average credit card debt by age is the silent generation, followed closely by Gen Z with an average credit balance of around $3,500. Since young adults have lower incomes on average, they also have lower average credit limits, which at least helps them avoid credit card debt. The next video is a warning sign that even if you are doing extremely well today financially, anything can go wrong in the future.
So this is how me and my wife got into $52,000 of credit card debt. So it essentially boils down to two major life events that happened over the course of the last couple of years that really catapulted us into this $52,000 of credit card debt, which we're currently at $38,000. And I will definitely be making some follow-up videos to kind of go over how we're getting out of this credit card debt. But the two major life events that happened were, number one, me and my wife both decided that we needed a career change at the same time, and unfortunately, we both took the career change at the same time. Now, my wife was a server and she was actually making pretty good money, but she was definitely not happy doing this. So she would come home crying very often. It was like taking a toll on her mental health, physical health, and I was just like, look, you have got to quit this job and just go pursue something that you enjoy doing. Because at the time we were actually doing pretty well financially. So I thought there's no better time to do this than right now. So anyways, she became a teacher, which she's still doing to this day, and she's pursuing her education and all that good stuff. But unfortunately, it came with a pretty big pay cut. Now, that wouldn't have been such a big issue had I stayed doing what I was doing, which was my photography business and a pretty decent car rental business. But I decided that I was going to become a realtor for whatever reason. I thought this was going to be like the thing that I do for the rest of my life, which it obviously is not. But I decided to do that, and that career itself, or that thing that I tried to pursue, basically didn't produce any income, and it just made me spend a lot of money. So not only did my wife take a large pay cut, but now I also wasn't making any money, because I gave up my photography business and I gave up or scaled back my car rental business. So we were essentially spending a ton of money, but we weren't making enough money, which kind of drained our savings account. And eventually we had to start putting stuff on credit card. Now, the second life event that happened over the course of the last couple of years is that we got married, and it was a big wedding. It cost a lot of money. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to rip me apart in the comments and say I shouldn't have had the wedding if we knew that we were in financial trouble. And I agree with you guys, but unfortunately, when we started planning the wedding, we were actually in a really good financial position. We had a lot of money in savings. I was still making some pretty good money. But had I known that I was going to not make any money with the career that I was going into, yes, I would have done things completely different, but I was very confident in my ability to make money going into what I was going into because I have been successful with my other businesses. But unfortunately, I wasn't successful in being a realtor and I didn't make any money. And we did realize that throughout this wedding process, we were in some financial trouble. But unfortunately, when you're planning a big wedding like that, it's kind of like a monster. And it wasn't like something that we could stop. Like we had already paid for the venue, we had already paid for the photographer, for the food. So all the big stuff was kind of already paid for. So essentially what we had to do was put the rest of everything on credit cards, which is how we got into a lot of our credit card debt.
I'm curious, let me know how much your wedding cost in the comments down below.
I have 4 credit cards. I have a Discover, which is my longest standing credit card. It's the first one I ever opened, and it is at a balance of like $5,400, which is actually pretty good. It's the lowest it's been in like 2 years. And so the Discover has a credit allowance of $6,100, so it's in like the 80% range of usage. Which the next one is a Sam's card. This is one that is in both, it's in my name, but I had added my fiance. I was just attacked. Not really. Anyways, so the next one is a Sam's Club credit card. It has a credit allowance of like $3,000. This one is the worst one right now. We actually had it paid down a little bit, and then it was my mistake. I forgot that they were going to charge the membership fee to it, and when it did that, it like brought it right back to like $3,000, and then when interest hit, it took it over the $3,000. So that one was showing over the credit allowance for a couple months, and I believe this next month that like the new balance or statement comes out, it should be under the $3,000 by just a little bit. It'll be at like $2,980 after interest hits. So there's that one. We have my Care credit card, which is what we use for the 3 dogs vet bills. And then it is at like a $450 balance with a credit allowance of $2,500. And lastly, we have my Barclays card, which has a credit allowance of $500, and it's sitting at like $380. So that one will be the next one that I focus my extra money towards.
So that was another example where having 4 credit cards is normal. I'm sitting at 16,000 in credit card debt and stressing on these monthly payments. I'm working on 17,000 in credit card debt over here. I was able to find a map of credit card debt by state. As you can see, the states with the highest credit card debt per person are Alaska, Florida, and New Mexico. On the other side, we have states with the lowest credit card debt per person. On first place, we have Kansas, followed by Wisconsin and Louisiana.
Because of how much credit card debt I'm in, I pay $1,745.38 in minimum payments per month. So let's talk about it. So this is the first time I've actually written that number out and written it down. What I did was I went through all of my credit card statements for the month of December, and I got the minimum balance, added them all up, and that's how I got that ridiculously high $1,700, $1,745.38 number, which is absolutely mind-boggling that I am paying that much in minimum payments every month.
If you think that 1,700 minimum payments is high, wait until we check the comments. I paid $2,000 a month and that was too tough. I had to file for bankruptcy. $2,500 monthly minimum payment. Only credit cards or other things as well? The creator asked. Credit cards only, no expense, gifts or vacation. My starting was $1,900. I'm right there with you. Oh, it could be worse. I was paying $4,700 minimum payments, not including my mortgage or my car.
What is the highest amount of credit card debt that I've seen on a loan application? Had someone ask me this. It was, may not have the exact number here, but it was around $141,000 was the highest one I ever saw. The minimum payments on that one, if I remember right, were, if you added all the cards up, was somewhere, I want to say it was about, I think it was about $4,800 a month.
Going straight to the comments, how is that even possible? And the creator explained, I really don't know. It was like 30 something credit cards. 30, not 4, not 5, 30. All paid on time, no derogatory credit on them. So I'm curious to know what is the highest credit card debt balance you have ever seen. Let me know in the comments down below.
About to break down all of my credit card debt. All 6 figures. Deep breath.
Okay, we're going to start with my Amex Hilton card at $37,924, $842 in finance charges, yuck, and $1,226 minimum due. Next card is my Discover, which is $28,381 with $522 in finance charges and $579 minimum payment. My Visa PNC card is $17,163 with $270 finance charge and $447 minimum payment. Next, my Citi Thank You card is $7,836 with $154 finance charge and $232 minimum payment. My Citi Diamond card is at $484 and $111 with $156 minimum due. And then Citi Best Buy card is at $2,611, 0 finance charge and $29 minimum payment, and $3,462 with 0 finance charge and $30 minimum payment. These two have no finance charges because these cards are currently, they are the highest finance charges I have, which means they get paid off and then I charge on them for right now my monthly charges, and then I pay that off in full every month so I don't get hit with any finance charges at these highest rates. Normally these two amounts aren't as high, but I just had a promotion on my Old Navy card that if I charged $2,000 in the month of October, then I get $150 statement credit. So this is probably about $1,500 to $2,000 more than it would normally be. But the priority is always making sure that I don't put more on these two cards than I can pay off the next month. And I've been sticking to that. Once I build some room on other cards, then I won't have to use these at all. And that is kind of like my first primary goal. But this, all my totals right now are at $101,861. So over 6K. Not 6K, 6 figures, sorry. And then my minimum, my finance charge is $1,899 last month, which is the highest it has been in a while and makes me want to throw up. And then my minimum due is $2,699. Guys, this is like a second mortgage. And so clearly this is weighing me down so much. It is making it hard to pay off the debt, make a dent in the debt. And also like feel like I have no idea where all our money is going. But when you were paying an extra $2,700 essentially just to maintain your debt every month and pay your minimums, it's no wonder that the money seems to be gone before you know it.
Did you notice the APR on most of her credit cards was close to 30%? 30%. Always curious what people put on credit cards. Medical bills, and the creator explained, really, I have always charged everything on credit cards, but as soon as you can pay them off in full every month, and as we know 60% of Americans can't pay their credit card balances in full each month, it's a very slippery slope. I agree. The further you get in the hole, the harder it is for you to get out. I know it's hard to get rid of that credit card debt, especially when the APR is that high, but I'll share with you 5 methods that you can use. First, keep your credit card charges to a minimum. Either don't use credit or use it only for necessary expenses. Method 2. Cut spending wherever you can. Look at your recent spending, see where you can make some cuts, and also you can start budgeting. There are a lot of budget apps that you can use. Method 3. Consider a balance transfer credit card if you have a good rating. Method 4. Look into debt consolidation loans. They typically have lower interest rates than credit cards, and also they have a fixed payment amount and length, so this can really put some structure and help you pay your debt faster. And method 5. Explore other options if you can't make your monthly payments. You can always go and negotiate with your credit card issuer to lower your interest rate or monthly payment amount. So that's all I've got for today for you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If you found this episode useful, please leave it a like and subscribe for more. The algorithm thinks you like this video as well. See you in the next one.